Pyrus, I wanted to tell you something about something I thought about earlier when I was working. But anyway, so here's Darth Pyrus, everybody.
I'm gonna have to
Uh,
come up with my own character. Shit.
my character's name is Darth Pyrus. He's a Sith Lord who specializes in fire. He is able to ignite people on, like, with his mind. He can shoot flames out of his hands, and he has both mastery over physical fire and force fire. The difference is that force fire doesn't consume oxygen when it's burning, and physical fire does. So, force fire is used in case of a space scenario where, oh, I need to use my fire ability, but I don't want to exhaust my oxygen supply. Therefore, forced fire. The ability was hinted towards or alluded to by ancient Sith Holocron, which was starting to research the other expansions of the Force abilities that involved heat and energy, other than lightning, which was completely easy to learn. Force fire, on the other hand, is not. This character is the master of force fire techniques, force fire healing, all that stuff. The character himself is follows four main things. He follows four main key attributes, I
Principles?
think. Principles. Yeah, the principles. Four main principles. The first one is obtaining knowledge. Constantly, there's a constant pursuit of knowledge. Constant pursuit of physical strength. And what was the third one that I remember saying? Because I can't remember it. Physical strength, knowledge, and I forgot. The fourth one, I know what the fourth one is, and that is to not die in any circumstance. Is to try to not die. That's the fourth one. Escape death. The third one, I really can't remember.
Was it something about? Oh, emotional
Oh, yeah,
relationships.
yeah, emotional ties. That was what it was, emotional
Yeah.
ties. So, keeping any emotional tie that fuels anger, hatred, and pain, because those three emotions give Sith power. And the whole point of all of these four principles is in the pursuit of power. Now, my character, um, oh, what else did I not mention about my character already? Oh, my character's outfit is black Sith robes, black Sith greaves and boots, and a face mask that is completely black, and it has a visor right over this mask slash helmet that's spherical, and the visor kind of looks like a fallen or it's kind of like a star, but not really. Like, the top parts are really long and the bottom parts are really small, so it's like a really retarded looking star. I drew it, but I can't show images on a stream, so you'll just have to go with the flow and forget about the mask. And if that doesn't work, it's a mix between. I have another mask idea where it's thanks to Ian, a mix between a plague doctor mask and a gas mask. So those two combined. There's some Google images, and the first one that pops up of the plague doctor gas mask is the one I'm going with. My character is a long-living character. He trains more than one apprentice, probably about 3, and the first 2 try and fail to kill the master. The whole point is to teach them to wait for a golden opportunity to strike at the master. That's the whole point. They have to learn that themselves, But I never give them the opportunity. I never put myself in a compromising situation, because then I will die, and that's what I need to avoid. Now, during the time of my first apprentice, I discovered a way to use my force fire abilities to turn myself into the same kind of thing that was going on with Scion, but I perfected it, because Scion was an undead freaking zombie dickhead that would just come back because he's angry and in pain, and he's the Lord of Pain. My version is perfected, where I can just come back because I feel like it. Every time I will always reform, and it's like a phoenix. So, if you do kill me, then I will turn into ashes, like physically burn. My whole body will burn and turn into ashes. The only way to keep me dead is to scatter the ashes, but that'll only last so long because I will still reform from the ashes anyway, so you'd have to physically split the particles of the ashes, which is basically impossible, so I'll always come back. But the weakness to that is I come back with no memory. However, there is a power play that I, myself, my character has invented where I imbued a pendant from my Sith's character's lover, the only romantic relationship my character ever had, and he imbued the Force, or all of his memories, traits, attributes, skills, anything he's learned, all into this pendant. So every time I die and come back with no memory, I'm drawn to this pendant. I don't know where it is, but I'm drawn to it, so it's like I'm hunting for it the whole time. Once I find it, I gain all my abilities back, everything, and I'm back to being a badass. So, that is pretty much the Sith that I've created, is Darth Pyrus, a fire guy, interested in destruction, power, knowledge. Oh, another thing, lightsaber combat form, I prefer Juyo or Vaapad, because they're both quite ferocious. Vaapad is definitely channeling the darker sides of the Force into your combat style. That's why Mace Windu was one of the few Jedi who could use it, because it does tap into the dark side a bit. Or if you're already in line with the dark side, it taps into it a lot more, but whatever. And the two things that I'm definitely really acutely aware of is I understand the point of being a master of more than one lightsaber form, and also being a master of Sith sorcery, because both of those two combined are a definite threat. So, and my secondary lightsaber form as a fallback is Makashi, because it takes almost zero energy to do some pretty devastating things. That's why Count Dooku uses it, because of his old age, but it's also very effective because it requires no energy and it gets a lot done. So, that is the complete description of my Sith. Thanks for watching. Alright, now I'll stop the broadcast.